Well, welcome to our first lesson on alternate picking. And alternate picking is, as implied by the name of the term, it just means going down and up through the string. So if my finger is the string and here's the pick, you're just going to go down and up through the string. And there are a few basic techniques to talk about with alternate picking, and everyone's hands are different, everyone's nervous systems and bodies are different, but these are general principles that you can explore that may help you out a lot and speed up your progress. So the first one that I'd like to talk about with alternate picking is slanting your pick forward a little bit, or some people do it backwards. So if this is the string, what you want to do is bring the pick a little bit forward, slant it. So if this is your guitar pick, you're going to slant it a little forward onto the string. What you want to do is bring the smallest amount of surface area through the string to activate the vibration of the string as possible. You don't want to, so if you bring just the flat part of the string, rather the flat part of the pick through the string, you're really using more surface area than you need. So just try to angle your pick forward like this a little bit, and you can feel that out for yourself, how much of a forward angle you want on the pick, and also how it affects your sound. So think about those two elements. The other thing to think about is to use as little of the pick as you need to get a full sound. So you might use a fraction of a millimeter. So you just want to brush the string a little bit. You don't need to really dig in. You may want to dig into the string sometimes for an effect. Really give it, almost like a centimeter in. But most of the time, especially when you want to play fast, you want to just use a little bit of the pick going through the string, and so find out how little you can use first, and work from there. The other thing that I'd like to mention is allowing the pick to give a little bit, so that you're not just ramming through the string, but letting the pick kind of bounce a little bit back. So you can keep a little bit of a loose wrist. You don't want to be so loose that you're flopping around and have no control, but by the same token, you don't want to be so tight that everything's rigid and it locks up, and then you get cramps and other things that could be problematic for your playing. So kind of find a spot between completely relaxed and completely tense, and go from there with the playing, and this idea that there's going to be a little bit of give in the pick. You're not just going to power through the strings and slam into them. So those are a few things to think about with alternate picking. And in the exercises, we're going to look at playing. These are the exercises in lesson 4. We're going to look at playing on the open strings and just getting this technique down, just to get the feeling of it down in our right hand. So we're not going to worry about the left hand yet. So we're just going to start with the first exercises with a down, up activity, alternate picking, and it's going to be try to use some of these techniques that I was talking about over the last few minutes. So slanting the pick downward, having a little give in the guitar pick, having a somewhat relaxed hand and arm, and using as little of the surface area of the pick as possible to still give you a full sound. Okay, so let's try that first exercise, and it'll just be down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And when you get that down, try to just feel it and listen to it rather than look with your eyes. And that's true of a lot of the techniques and exercises that we're learning in this book, because in performance, you can't always look down. You really have to be engaged with the audience or with your other bandmates if you're playing in a band. And also looking at your guitar and using your eyes a lot, or mainly, is kind of going to take your ears a little bit out of the activity. So you want to put the ears front and center, try to listen as much as possible to the tone, to the correct notes, and then also feel, and with your hands, the technique at work, the correct finger positioning, the placement on the neck, all those things. You want to feel those in your body rather than looking at where they should be with your eyes. The eyes are kind of a crutch, and as you progress with your guitar playing and play faster and faster, your eyes aren't going to be able to keep up with how fast your hands are moving. So you have to use your ears and your fingers, and that'll hold you in good stead in the long run anyway. So you want to, at the outset, you want to kind of foster that technique of using the ears and the hands, or kinesthetics as it's called, the placement of the hands in space, the understanding of that in the mind. You want to use those two principles as the real center of your guitar technique, and then use the eyes when necessary. So you can use the eyes when you have to make a big jump and you want to find the right fret and stuff like that, but try to avoid using your eyes to search out for the notes. In